Alright, now that we're done with the introduction, I thought we'd talk about something light. So let's get into the meaning of life. I take a rather literal approach to this topic. Without consulting a dictionary, I'm just going to go ahead and say that life simply means movement. If something is moving, and I don't mean anything elaborate like doing the moonwalk or finding your way out of IKEA, it's alive. The universe is alive because of the movement of particles, which our current understanding says started 13.8 billion years ago. So, if life just means movement, why is this such a complicated question? Because us humans can move anywhere. Our potential is basically limitless. Bacteria doesn't suffer from the same philosophical crisis as us, because it doesn't do much other than multiply and give you staph infections. Do you remember the one I had? It was disgusting. It looked like our living room carpet. But that bacteria was living its best life. Even a more complex life form, like a rabbit, doesn't do much more than eat, reproduce, and find shelter. They don't have to think about what university to enroll in or how to get out of a pyramid scheme. So, if life is movement, where are we moving? Well, as I said, anywhere. In fact, there are some people that believe it doesn't matter where you move, as life is meaningless. As I said in the introduction, consciousness and the universe are a mystery. All we know is, what we call the universe came into being 13.8 billion years ago, and we don't know why. So, if we don't know why, and there was no intent behind it, then this whole life thing is just an accident. Thus, these kinds of people think that life has no meaning, and therefore, it doesn't matter what you do, because we're not meant to be here anyway. I think this is called nihilism, coming from the word nihil, which is Latin for edgelord. I don't agree with this idea for several reasons. Firstly, even though the universe doesn't have a will, there is still reason. We call it physics. A word that basically means the unfolding of nature. And what we've learned through physics is that the universe is just energy transforming from one form to another. Over time, light concentrated into matter, matter into minerals, minerals into cells, finally vegetable and animal. I probably missed a step or two, but you get the picture. We are part of this great unfolding. Deeply woven, atomically stitched, just like how a wave is part of the ocean, we are part of the universe. We are just a continuation of the long, unbroken line of charged particles that came into being at the Big Bang. Funnily enough, it's human consciousness that blinds us from seeing this. Because we have the brains to be aware of our place in the universe, we look at it as something separate from us. When we take our egos out of the equation, we realize that we are part of the flow of nature. So why are we here? Because energy builds, discharges, transforms. You know, physics. Another thing wrong with nihilistic thinking is that it's so self-centered. Nihilists don't believe in an afterlife. Thus, they don't believe it matters what you do with yourself in this life. Whatever your beliefs are, you must agree with this. There is an afterlife. It's called life. After we die, life goes on. This all might disappear for you once you're dead, but the world still turns after your life. Life is the present moment, part of a continuous, unbreakable stream of space-time. Instead of wondering what happens to us after we die, perhaps we should be focusing on what happens to everyone else after we die. From the Big Bang to Megalodons, from Megalodons to Finding Nemo, we are all part of the same flow. I hope you think carefully about what you are putting into the river. To me, nihilism is a symptom of disconnection from nature and a misinterpretation of the universe. Our egos turn us into discrete autonomous units and blind us from our place in the whole picture. Purpose in the nihilistic sense asks, what do I get out of this? When we are connected, the question becomes, what is my part in all of this? Everything changes. As a parent, I don't ask, what's in it for me? Imagine if everything I did as a dad was for a reward. That would be terrible. My role is to provide unconditional love to you and be there whenever and however you need me. So, I hope that we have at least established that life does have meaning, and that a healthy and connected person can feel it. Alright, now that we've got that out of the way, let's recap. The meaning of life is movement. So where should one move? If one wants to live meaningfully, and I presume you do if you're still listening, then I think this answer is quite simple as well. Forward. Move forward. This is really obvious when you're a child. When a baby pops out, you don't wonder, so what do we do with it? Well, you do if it's your first. But anyway, you feed it and nourish it so that it can grow. So that it can move forward from being a 3-ish kilogram human to a healthy child. The child goes from making sounds to speaking, reading and writing complex language. Pretty much everything is forward movement. When we become adults, growth isn't so clear-cut. We hit a physical limit at some point and can't grow anymore in that sense. So is that it for us then? Do we just decay and sit at home yelling at the TV? Well, at some point billions of years ago, the universe, while continuing its growth, grew brains, and the most capable ones ended up in primates, and those primates evolved into us. So, to continue our growth, we need to make the most of our brains. As a human, to keep that long continuous flow of energy going in the right direction, elevate that human consciousness of yours. The quality and content of your thinking will determine how much more you can grow. I want you to think to yourself, what are quality thoughts? What are quality actions? If you have quality thoughts, and they result in quality actions, what will you grow into? You. You will become the best, most authentic, complete version of you. Through conscious choices and self-awareness, you can fulfill your trajectory and be you. So, the meaning of life is movement. A meaningful life means to move forward, and forward means moving towards your true self. Thus, as a human being, the meaning of life is to grow into yourself. The ego may get in the way and confuse us, but this is what we are here for. To be us, the unique one-of-a-kind creature, different from all other combinations of star bits in the universe. That's what you are here for. But what the hell is the self? See you next time. Like and subscribe, and remember, you can be a plural.